Hi there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Akello Day and TV. Hoping you're doing well.
Welcome.
So, darling, what are we talking about today?
Today we are going to talk about don't be a yes spouse.
Hey, what a topic! A yes spouse. Are you a yes spouse?
Yeah.
So don't be a yes spouse.
Yeah.
You probably are wondering, like, what do these guys mean? A yes spouse. Yes is a good term. So why shouldn't I be a yes spouse? Well, a yes spouse is somebody who says yes to every single thing that their spouse suggests, thinks, does. You're just saying yes, 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 yes. Every single thing that your spouse is doing, saying, or thinking.
Yeah, you have no autonomy. You don't have a voice of your own. You're just kind of escorting your your partner or your person through life.
Oh my goodness! You just hit them with the truth. Escorting your spouse.
Escorting your spouse. You just don't have a voice of your own at all. You've just gotten lost in the marriage or relationship. And that cannot be.
That cannot be.
It's not healthy.
It's not healthy at all.
Not for the relationship.
Not for the relationship. And you need to realize that marriage is about two whole people with their individual essence and uniqueness coming together to become one.
That's it.
Marriage doesn't mean that you lose yourself.
No.
You lose your thinking. You
Not
lose
at
your
all.
thinking capacity. You lose your contribution. You lose your identity. You lose what makes you unique. It doesn't mean that. So please, when you check into marriage, it doesn't mean that now you're supposed to silence every single thing that makes you in order for the marriage to work.
And here's the thing, you were raised differently, you come from different backgrounds, probably speak different languages, or, you're raised different, different amount of siblings. Maybe your parents were frugal and the other person's parents were extravagant. I mean, then you come to the same house and then you expect to agree on everything.
Yeah.
It's not possible.
It's not possible. You will have disagreements in marriage.
Yes,
you will have disagreements in marriage. And that doesn't mean
okay
there's
to
any
disagree.
problem. It's okay to disagree. It's okay to disagree.
Yeah.
The danger is
just don't camp there.
Exactly. Don't camp there, and don't let it also manifest into arguments, into ugly arguments. Disagreements are normal, but arguments should not be something that you actually allow your marriage to become, every single day or constantly. It's okay to have disagreements. Being a yes spouse also means that you don't voice out when your spouse offends you. So you know very well your spouse has done something that doesn't sit right with you.
No.
You know very well that your spouse is, not doing something right. And you can clearly see. But you're not saying anything. You're just keeping quiet or pretending to be okay.
You're pretending all's well, sweeping everything under the rug. As if nothing's happened.
Imagine.
I just want to, but it's
It's very unhealthy, because what you're doing is that you're not informing your spouse of what they're doing wrong. You're not informing your spouse, what, over there you've hurt me, so that you can teach your spouse to love you better, so you can teach your spouse to be considerate. As you pretend, your spouse thinks every single thing is okay.
And possibly you're harboring resentment, anger and resentment, and how is that serving you?
Oh my goodness, that's a valid point, darling. That's a valid point, because you could be there in your marriage. You're pretending to be happy, pretending to be smiling, pretending to be good, but guess what? You are harboring resentment. You're looking at your spouse, this person.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. You smile when you two are eating together.
I could kill you.
I could imagine that. The moment your spouse leaves, you're like, please.
You're like, thank God
he's left. Thank God she's gone. Why are you doing this? Why are you? Because when you have a resentment, soon enough your spouse is going to pick it. Your spouse is going to be like, oh, okay.
Always.
Why are you mad at
Because
this
there's
thing?
going to be an atmosphere. You're going to have an energy.
Yeah.
That's just wrong and off.
And off. Yeah. And maybe over there you're thinking, oh, but if I voice to my spouse what they're doing wrong, then it's going to be an ugly conversation and we're not going to have peace. You know what? Peace is not the absence of real conversations. You know, the best way to have peace, to have real peace, is when you have honest and real conversations. Not when you're pretending to be okay.
Yeah, pretense never works.
It never works. It never works because you will not be at peace with yourself. Your spirit will not be at peace when you're being offended by your spouse, but all you're doing is yes, yes, yes. And maybe you're there, you're thinking that being a yes spouse equates to being humble. That, oh, I'm showing humility, you know, I'm being submissive, I'm being a submissive wife when I don't correct my husband. Excuse me. That is not the way of doing it. Submission doesn't mean silencing your voice.
Yes.
You know, and by the way, submission, that it's not for just the women alone. Both man and woman are supposed to submit to the love. You know, you submit to each other where you put down I so that they can be we. So when you put down I so that they can be we, is okay, honey, your contribution is important in this marriage. The same way my contribution is valuable, yours is valuable too.
Yeah.
So submission doesn't mean you keep quiet. Submission doesn't mean your husband is stepping on your toes and then you're just sitting over there like, you know, like you're a slave about to be mastered by your dictator. No.
That's not submission.
That's not submission. That's not submission.
You can submit to your husband and still have a voice.
Yeah. And speaking of that, oh my goodness, you know, one time we were just doing some Bible study and we were looking at this character called Pilate, you know.
Yes,
oh my goodness.
Pilate and his wife.
And his wife. So in case you don't know, allow us to just narrate to you that story. So here is Pilate, and then in front of him is a crowd of people who are baiting for blood. They just want Jesus to be crucified. They want, you know, to persecute Jesus. And so Jesus is brought into the front with robbers. And then so Pilate is asking, so who do I set free? Who do I crucify? So the crowd goes ahead and shouts what? Crucify Jesus.
Crucify Jesus.
You know, that's
let the robbers go.
Let the robbers go. We want you to crucify Jesus. And then guess what happened, honey?
Oh, his wife steps in.
Yes.
His wife steps in and says, honey, you don't want this blood on your hands.
Imagine that.
No, don't go ahead with this one.
Imagine.
Nope.
Imagine. So Pilate's wife comes to Pilate and tells him, honey, have nothing to do with this man. I've had a dream about him and he's innocent. And Pilate, wise as he is, he listens to his wife because his wife is
high up as he is.
As high up.
He wasn't all prideful, like, I know what I'm doing, I got this.
Yeah. And this is Pilate, the political leader, you know, with all his power and clout and all that he can muscle as a leader. And then the wife, not being a yes spouse. She's not a yes spouse. She was like, no, I'm not going to be a yes spouse. I'm going to.
Not on this one.
Not on this one. Not on this particular case.
Yeah.
She was like, you know what? My husband, you know, I know you are the leader, but I need to warn you. I need to warn you because I'm seeing something that you're not seeing. You know what? Have nothing to do with this man. And the Bible records that Pilate listened to his wife and he washed his hands
off it.
Of it.
The
And
case.
of the case. And the Bible says that the blood of Jesus is not on Pilate's hands simply because he listened to his wife. Who?
Hey.
Imagine it. Look at that.
Yeah.
And then there was Adam.
Oh Lord, there was Adam.
Yes.
Adam was definitely a yes spouse. They were told not to eat the fruit from that particular tree. We all know the story. And then the serpent came up to Eve and was like, hey, did God really say? And started speaking in her ear. And guess what? She took the fruit and then gave it to Adam, who should have known better.
Exactly.
But guess what? He was a yes spouse. He didn't say no. Like, hold up. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
God said not to. But no, he was a yes spouse.
Yeah.
He took the apple and bit it.
Yeah. Imagine. Yeah.
And we all know.
The consequences of that, you know. So
huge consequences.
Adam just escorted with Eve in the decision. Oh, okay, you've eaten. Okay, so let me also eat.
Yeah.
Let me also eat. Instead of also him being, you know what is also my value, my stand on this particular issue. And this also is another reminder. Sometimes your spouse might suggest something that goes against even your relationship with God.
Against your values, your principles.
Your conscience, you know. So do you just say yes just because it's your spouse? No. You can love your spouse and disagree with your spouse. You know, you can be like, you know what?
You can disagree, and sometimes just voicing your opinion might change their mind. Might get them to a good path, a good trajectory.
It's true. It's
You
true.
know?
It's true. It's true.
Rather than letting them carry on believing.
That you're in it, you're with you're with him or her in the decision, and that's the danger of being a yes spouse. You know, it silences you from warning your spouse when they're going into danger.
It does.
It silences you from correcting your spouse, yet your spouse needs your correction. It silences you from contributing, you know, your valuable opinion and thoughts, which are needed in your marriage.
Yeah, needed and are important.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes. So imagine just for you being a yes spouse, you're just sitting there, you're like, oh no, my opinion doesn't matter. Yeah, it does matter.
It
does
does
matter. So this is the danger of being a yes spouse, because your spouse could be walking into fire. You could be in a position to do something about it,
and
but
you
you're
don't.
not.
You just watch them walk right into the fiery furnace. Not good.
A yes spouse. You're like, oh, okay, are you okay? Yes, yes, yes. Do I do this? Yes. Do I make this financial investment? Yes. You know very well it's a bad one. Do I do this? Yes.
What do you think of that, friend?
Yes.
They're fine.
Yes, yes, yes. Is it okay for me to drive when I'm drunk? Yes. Yet you can
Yes,
tell your
yes,
spouse.
as long as you can get
yeah,
home.
yeah. You can tell your spouse, honey, no, it's not a good thing when you're driving.
Don't
when you're
even
drunk.
take the car.
Don't even take the car. Call an Uber or something, you know.
Uber.
Yeah. Get another friend, a designated driver to bring you home, because, honey, I need you alive. I need you alive, and not just you. I don't want you to risk the life of people on the road just because you're driving while drunk and you've been doing it for some years. No.
Yeah.
You need a spouse who can check you, who can correct you, and who can also tell you no.
Yeah.
Who can tell you no, honey, I disagree. Honey, I disagree. So how do you disagree? As you're saying, disagreeing is healthy. How do you disagree? Don't just say no with reason. Say
Yes.
no, you know, give your...
don't
give,
just
don't just
disagree
say,
to disagree.
Yeah, don't just disagree with it for disagreeing sakes. You know, because you're not just saying, you know, just because you're your own individual in marriage, you just say no to every single thing your spouse suggests.
Yeah.
You know, don't be difficult.
Don't be a difficult
Don't be. That's not the
That's
message.
not what we're saying.
Yeah, that's not the message. We're saying that when two people come together, they are better than one. Why are they better than one? Because they have, you know, they put their reasoning together. They consult, they debate, and then they come to an agreement.
Yes. And they come to a good
They
conclusion.
come to a-
Usually,
yeah,
two heads
yeah.
are better than one. We
Yes.
all know the saying.
Yes. And you know, so because my wife will see some things that I'm not seeing.
Yeah, and
So-
as a female, we are wired differently
Yes,
to
yes,
the men,
yes.
so we tend to see some things that maybe they're blind. That's their blind spot.
Exactly. So she should cover my blind spots
I should.
as I also cover her blind spots.
Yes.
I should be able not to be the one who is just saying yes, but also in private to be like, you know what, honey, I feel over here, you need to improve over here. Or I think over here, this way I think you're going in the wrong direction. Or I think over here, maybe this will work better for you, for us, for our family, for children, and that's the best way of going about it. So give your reasons. Are you planning on buying land somewhere? Why are you for that particular area and not the other area? So that now you two can debate and consult and come to a decision together.
Yes.
And once you've come to a decision together, let it be now your joint decision. You know, like it's just like when you're in a boardroom, you know, when you're in a company and then you have a boardroom meeting. Okay, this is the investment that you want to make. So person A presents an opinion, person B presents an opinion. And then once you come to a decision together in the boardroom, now you go forth as a company together. The same principle in marriage.
Yes.
Discuss. Okay, honey, what do you think? You disagree. Okay, why are you disagreeing? Okay, I disagree with what it is that you're saying. Why am I disagreeing? Okay, we discuss, we debate, and then we come to a decision. Then once you make the decision, now it becomes a joint decision. You know, we go through it together and all that kind of stuff. But remember, don't lose your individuality in marriage.
Oh, don't. And also, learn to know and to separate the disagreement from the person. When they disagree with you, they disagree with the opinion. It
Yes.
doesn't mean that they disagree with you as a person. It doesn't mean that they don't love you. They just don't love that opinion of yours. So learn to separate the two things.
I think that is perhaps, if you haven't got anything, that is what you're supposed to get. Disagreeing with you doesn't mean that your spouse doesn't love you.
No.
If you haven't got anything for all these minutes we've been talking to you, please let it be that. Your spouse disagreeing with you does not mean that he or she does not love you. In fact, it could be that it is because of love that they're disagreeing with you.
Yeah.
It could be that because sometimes your spouse is a person who will tell you real things that those friends who are trying to
They can't.
to make you do stuff for them cannot tell you.
Yeah, ideally your spouse has your best interests at
Exactly,
heart. So
exactly.
they are the person to really listen to and keep a keen eye on.
Exactly. And I'll give my personal experience. A couple of times my wife will come and tell me, "Hey, honey, no. There, maybe you need to change like this and at that particular moment I can go like, I try and debate, I try and justify why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm like, but honey, I can even come up with charts and reasons and at least 10 reasons why I'm doing this. And then at the end of the day,
does. It can come up with a whole PowerPoint.
A whole PowerPoint as to why I'm doing things the way I'm doing. And then once I sit back when I'm just, I have a meeting with myself, I'm like, you know what, actually, I just have to admit it. My wife was right. Like hers is a simpler way of doing it. I'm like, oh my goodness. And it saves me the time, the stress, and I've grown so much just by hearing her. Sometimes it's not easy to listen. I'll be honest. Sometimes it's not easy to listen because you want to go this way, and then you hear like, there's a different way. And personally, I'm not very easy when it comes to changing. So you're like, oh my goodness. So here I'm going like this, and then my wife is like, okay, so maybe we consider. And then I'm like, okay, But at the end of the day, once I consider the change, with merit, of course, not just because I love her, with merit, okay, why are we making this change? And then at the end of the day, it's actually better for me, for her, for us.
Yeah.
Lesson learned. Lesson learned. And I'll keep learning because, marriage is
I'll
about
keep
learning.
yeah. And you've come to me with a few things as well and just said, no, honey, like we can't do it like that or we are not going there. And I've pulled a pout, I've pulled a tantrum, but then, at the end of the day, when you sit down and really think things through, you're like, hold up.
Yeah.
Honey was right, actually.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So sometimes no is a good and loving answer.
It is.
Sometimes no is a good answer. So hey, don't be a yes spouse.
Don't be a yes spouse.
Be a spouse who's in for your spouse's best interest, your marriage's best interest, even though you're disagreeing. Be in this marriage because you're like, you know what, my contribution is of value the same way your spouse's contribution is of value. So be in your marriage to make your spouse better, to make yourself better, to make your marriage better. And that way you will do, not by being a yes spouse, but by contributing to what you're supposed to be bringing as an individual.
Amen to that. Don't lose your voice.
Don't lose your voice. Don't lose your voice. Your voice matters.
Your voice matters.
Your voice matters. And us here, Akello and I, we just want to tell you that we wish you
the best of love. Always.
We love you.
Love you.